Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right now.
Right now. Welcome to another daily motivation stream. I'm your host Kaufman, and we are at 471 consecutive streams. So if you found yourself here, you know the drill. Welcome back all our regulars, Megan, Bethany. Great to have you back in the stream. What we're going to do today, we're going to get 2 writing sprints. We're going to have to be a little bit more productive. So we're going to have to make sure we're a little bit more productive today. We'll be starting off the first sprint with 25 minutes, what am I talking about? 25 minutes, and making sure that we can start off the weekend right. And then make sure to stick around for the break. We'll catch up and we'll see how everyone is doing. Maddie, Calvin, Lynn, welcome, my friends. I know I am so stoked for Faded Fantasy personally. That's kind of what's on my mind. But I think yesterday I had a little bit of a breakthrough when I was working on the Mr. Crow POV chapter. So hopefully we can get some solid progress in on our storytelling this weekend. I know we have the story and critique stream tomorrow, so definitely quite a lot of feedback coming up this weekend. So very, very cool. Welcome to the community. I'm Kaufman. I'm on a mission to help writers with the process, lifestyle, and mindset that it takes to be a writer. So come join us because we're starting right now. Now, as you guys shall soon be able to see, I do have my screen all set up. Perfect. Here we go. So as you can see, I have my screen all set up here. We're going to be kicking off the first sprint with 25 minutes and seeing if we can try to get ourselves in the vibe. So whether you've been writing today or maybe you're just starting out and you're like, hey, I just need to get into it, now's the time. So I'm all ready. Let's do it. And we'll see what we see on the break. Awesome. So whether you are brainstorming, writing, editing, revising, author branding, or maybe something in between, come join us because it's time to write now. Writing sprint over. Writing sprint over. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, how did that first writing sprint treat you? Were you able to make any progress that time? Let me know. Drop a comment. Or maybe you're just hanging out. Maybe you're like, hey, end of the work week. Time to hang out, kick back, and relax for the weekend. I'm curious, are we getting any good writing vibes in this weekend, my friends? I've been kind of struggle bussing through this chapter this past week. And I think it's because the Mr. Crow chapter is such. So like I had to make some decisions on it because I've been exploring Mr. Crow. I know his personality, and then I'm also introducing the new set of characters, which is the otter, Audie. We're introducing the skunk, not the. We are introducing the skunk, Lady Skunk, and she's about to come in, and then the squirrel, who are big characters for this next story arc, as they are supporting Mr. Crow and helping to free Scarecrow. Um, Yes, and then some of them become bigger characters later on. So not only is this introducing setups for some new characters, and I have to make sure the new character setups are impactful because this is the only standalone Mr. Crow chapter in its entirety. I have to make sure that Mr. Crow's POV is engaging and pulls the reader in. And then I've decided that the chapter will also have some major foreshadowing elements for deeper in the series. So there's some things that I do want to foreshadow that won't be explored for a little while. So, but some very minor foreshadow things. So that's something else that I'm kind of bouncing around. So that's on my mind. Oh, not start the timer. Yeah. How did go for you, Megan? You're like pretty good. Let's see. Nice, Megan. You're working on describing taste in your chapter today. That's always a good thing. That's definitely always a good thing. If you're relying and trying to develop and leverage your other senses, that's always a huge plus. Good luck with that. I know trying to figure out what other senses to rely on can be such an important factor in making sure to better describe our worlds and do more showing and less telling. So, yeah, good luck with that. Hmm. Let's see. And of course, got to have the snack. Got to have the snack. My only snack I have is water. But snacks are always really, really good thing. Nice. What's up, Eli? I got about 70 words in. Nice little start to the sprint. Kind of like getting the writing juices flowing. Yeah, and I mean, anytime that we're trying to like improve on something, I mean, research is really the key there. Like that we all know for certain. Research is the key. Calvin. You're like, got a couple hundred words in of a new story. Ooh, that's exciting. That's really exciting. Getting a start on something new. That's super exciting, my man. I'm like curious where the inspiration for it is coming from. Let's see. I'm trying to get a prophecy to rhyme and still make sense. Yeah, that's that's always an interesting one. Trying to do a rhyming structure ML is always very interesting. I've been kind of going back and forth with rhyming structure as well in this chapter. Um yeah, I mean I've been trying to go back and forth with rhyming structure as well with Mr. Crow and thinking about like okay, is there like an undertone of poetry? So, I totally feel you on that one. Oh, nice, Calvin. You're like it's a rewrite of your first novel. Okay, that's super awesome. That's super awesome. Are you talking about a Tyrus, or are you talking about like an earlier something you wrote prior to that? But that's really cool, man. Let's see, and yeah, I mean, you know what's interesting is I feel like I've been focused on some heavier character development because I think this chapter I'm on is actually a very heavy character development chapter. That's really what it is. And I've made a lot of the choices for these characters for Crow, the Otter, the Skunk, and the Squirrel, which are the four characters in this chapter. And I think it's now just writing through and experiencing and seeing how they actually come to life. So yeah, this chapter is heavily character dependent. Nice. Yeah, like I started reading, and then there were none by Agatha Christie, and it has a poem song at the beginning, reminding me of you, Jared. Aw, that's really cool. That's really really cool. I was like, yeah, I know. Me and my poetry, my poem song. I was like, actually, I haven't looked at it yet. I haven't looked at it since I last brought it up. I'm gonna go look at it again. Thanks for the reminder, Eli. Let's see, where how am I feeling about the song? So for anybody who doesn't know or who missed out last time, I decided to start the book off with a poem. Um the last I need to see if I still like it. So this is how I'm going to start off instead of doing a prologue. Let me see how I feel. I mean, it's really a song, like it's a song more than a poem. Okay. Let's see. Here's how I'm envisioning it. I want to make sure it rhymes, but this is really going to set the tone of the world. Okay. So this will be after you'll have title, table of contents, and then I will go straight into the song last. I'm sure copyright page will be up there as well. So okay. Song of the last. For all the creatures in the dark, for all the animals near the mark, for all the beasts who feel the spark in the lands of the last you see, essence will set you free. Ever the growth in the forest start, the splash and the breath ever wore apart. Rekindle the sparks in the burn's black heart, the spirit traps epoch's decree. In the lands of the last you see, take to the skies to be free. Shadow yourself freely, lands of last free. So that is the opening song. I'm asking myself how I still feel. I still think that the part that I still want to make adjustments to, I think, is this last verse. So, I mean, technically the verse starts here, but I did want Lands of the Last to be in that verse because we have Lands of the Last here, 1, 2, and I'm using my rule of threes. Lands of Last. Lands of the last you see. In the lands of the last you see. This will be the take to the skies to be free. Take to the skies the last of. In the lands of the last you see. The last of our kind be free. Shadow yourself to the tree. Lands of the last you see. The last of our kind be free. Shadow yourself to the tree. Lands of last free. Yeah, I kind of have to keep thinking about it. I think it's just this last one. I feel like it's going to come to me. And as I'm thinking about it, I like the opening. This is representative of the types of creature, the types of entities that inhabit this world, or the types of characters. I like that. And then this touches upon the magic. I really wanted this one is very focused on what the magic of the world is, or at least the major magic that we will be exploring in the lands. And then I think this one needs to be about The last of the species. I think that's what it does. I mean, I think Lands of the Last is like interesting, but I think I need to touch on the last of the species somehow. So I have to think about it. Mm, let's see, Len. You're like, whenever I deal with an annoying chapter in revision, I always ask, will the overall plot change if I just take it out? And if so, then I just delete it. Yeah, and this is the real challenge when because I've asked myself the same exact question. Um, where I'm at moving forward is all these chapters. So really the start of this act, these last couple of chapters, we had a Scarecrow, then the Pebble the Pixie, and then the Crow chapter. They were all, well, they're not necessarily plot esque focused. Scarecrow's a little bit more plot focused. I would say Scarecrow's plot focused. The Pebble and the Crow chapter, well, you could argue maybe there's a lower level of plot because they're both the chapters are setting up all of the supporting characters that are important for the story arc. So like the Pebble chapter sets up the three dragonkin who are really important to help her with this story arc, with these next couple of chapters. Whereas the Crow chapter is setting up these characters, the otter, the skunk, and the squirrel, who are important for supporting him in through this story arc in freeing Scarecrow. So it's like I've already thought that like these chapters that are coming up, there's no way for me to take them out. I wish I could shorten it. And then I faced that same challenge like before this story arc. All of like the things that were fun was doing a lot of world building. I did a lot of world building in the previous chapters. So I'm gonna have to see how I'm gonna see have to see what type of feedback I get to try to figure out where I can cut from. I was like, yeah, that's good. Good call out though. Oof. All right. Well, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about that break. And I feel like we were able to get a little bit of a breather. I'm getting even more inspired having gone through the song now. like I'm so intrigued by my own world, which is great. So before we hop into our next sprint, a really quick call out. Tomorrow is the story and critique show. If you're looking for feedback on your story, submit now. Tomorrow is story and critique stream 41. So we've almost done 200. We've almost done 200 stories, which is super cool. Essentially, if you want feedback, I'm doing a live reading and a live critique of your story excerpts. If you want to submit now down in the YouTube description down below. I don't know how many submissions there are. I usually check them sometime Saturday before the stream, but submit now. The sooner you submit, the more likely you are to be able to get into this coming stream or the next one. So definitely submit for the story and critique stream. Definitely one of our most fun ones. I'm looking forward to all the stories that we'll be exploring tomorrow. So very, very fun. We'll have a normal length show. I know last time I was traveling still. So very, very cool. And on that note, let's hop in another writing sprint. So, like I said, my time is a little shorter today. So, we'll be hopping into a second writing sprint. Got to keep it at another 25 minutes. I'm like already pushing myself a little bit, but let's do it. I am ready. As like, oh, nope. I had the things. Now I'm all out of. Wait, where did I go? I was like, okay. So, let me fix this. All right, perfect. So we're going to do a second writing sprint, 25 minutes. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, editing, come join us because it's time to write now. All right. So went a little over there, but I kind of had to finish up that thought. And I was like, especially since we are only doing the 2 sprints, I was like, I knew that I had to get through that moment. And I actually I actually am really liking the back and forth. So I had to look at the original rough draft, what I had done, and a lot of the moments of the conversation work, but I needed to structure it slightly differently to since I've adjusted some of the introductions and the information. So yeah, but overall though, I think I have I mean, I already loved writing the otter in the first draft. So I think the otter's personage should come out fun. But I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. Hopefully you were able to get some progress on your writing. But that's going to take us to creative writing on the morrow. So I'll be back tomorrow for the story and critique stream, 1 p.m. Pacific, 2, 3, 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here. If you haven't submitted your story, submit it right now. Link down in the YouTube description down below. And if you enjoyed the stream today, tap that like button on the way out. Help us show the algorithm that writing streams are cool. My friends, it's been great. Hopefully you were able to get some work done as well. I know today was a little shorter. We'll see how Sunday turns up. Sunday will probably be a writing sprint day. And then for those of you who want to sprint tomorrow, I know Chat Soul is doing writing sprints over in the Discord at some point. So now we're getting writing sprints on the weekends as well, which is really good for those who prefer getting work done on the weekends. So that's awesome. And on that note, thank you all for joining, but unfortunately that brings us to the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers.
Right now.
Right
Right now.
Right now.
now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now.